Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be playing some Midnight Evil. What Midnight Evil is it's a horror-based game where you read from a book and the entities from inside the book come to real life. So you guys get to hear my beautiful reading voice, as this game will not detect my voice and probably make me enraged. So let's just start this. William Grinkle was fast asleep. Is that a man or a child? Or a Chinese woman? All above. Boom. Tonight was different, though. He woke to a strange sound coming from the attic. What was that sound, you ask? Nobody knows. As that chihuahua-looking weird thing on the left side scares everyone half to death. Why is everything different colors? Why can't it just be normal color? Like, what the heck, bro? As he climbed the stairs, he felt something. What'd he feel? Wow, a chest. It's red. That means it's more important than everything else. He'd never seen this chest before. Just an innocent book. Tonight his life would change forever. Nathan Sanders presents Midnight Evil. Bro, Evil's so evil you can almost see every single pixel inside of it. Nice. We got our own room. We got front to the present. It's literally a present. We got the Burninator with Dr. Schwarzenegger. We got Wartars. We got Saws. We got Otori, computer video system. We got, who you gonna call? No, I can't read that far. But it's Toastbusters. Yes. Dragons and Dungeons. Amazing. And we got some license plates. Pennsylvania license plates, so that means something. We got a nice little nightlight over there. Got some, like, stars. Those are too bright for a room, though. Nice little lava lamp, little moon, stop sign. This preface. So, yeah, this is where the reading comes in. And I have to mute somebody because their flipping mic's retarded. Back to the story. Long before the first humans stood upright and took their place in the world, there was a beautiful land that was ruled by what many would come to call the Fae. These ancient beings were worshipped by mankind, but they were also feared. No, what? Humans were right to be afraid, for there were many different creatures that lived in darkness, waiting us. Wait. Why'd that work? That shouldn't be like that. That's gonna just make that bothering. Okay. Most were harmless enough, amusing themselves by causing mischief and playing pranks on humans that crossed their paths. However, some had more sinister intentions. I can read, I swear, guys. The Urkling, for example, had developed a liking for the taste of human children. These monsters are small, unnaturally fast, and impossible to kill. It was an unlucky tragedy for my people that we decided to build our village here, right in the middle of the Earthlings' territory. We have lost so many of our children over their past year. There aren't enough tears in this world to weep for their loss. Thankfully, though, my grandmother taught me in the ways of my druid ancestors. I may not be able to kill the little beast, but I was able to work out a spell that binds him to this book. I can only hide it and pray that it never falls into the hands of a child. If you are reading this, know that I'm truly sorry for the demons that you have now passed on to you. Opening the book will awaken... Opening the book will awaken them, and I'm sure they'll be ravenously hungry. Once the book is opened, you must read it out loud from beginning to end in order to return them to their magical prison. Be watchful. They only attack if you don't see them coming. Most importantly, once you finish this book, keep it hidden so that no one ever opens it again. Yay! Chapter 1.
WIGS-FM 98.7 Game Talk.
Oh, so it's like a gaming channel?
Hello, darkness.
Oh, I love that
My name
voice.
is Nick Gloom. It's just me tonight. As you guys know, we answer game questions.
Can't look
and
around
talk
either.
Tips and tricks. Well, Nate usually does. I don't really play most of those games. Anyway, let's get to the phones. First caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Nick. I'm wondering, how do I beat the final boss in Terminator Destruction?
How would I know that?
Oh, I
Wow.
don't know.
I'm stuck here working for crap money. I still can't
Gosh.
afford to buy new Atari games. Would you like me to page Nate?
I don't
Here's
know.
the thing. Like I said, I'm working here. I don't usually come on the radio. So, I don't have as much of a bedside manner as Nate
This
does.
guy's so mean to the kid.
But it's totally fine. I bought a new OBasic book,
Oh, basic
which
book.
is the programming language for Atari, since I can't afford to buy my own Atari games, and I'm working on my own homebrew game. The pending title is Evil Midnight, where I'm not sure what you're going to have to do yet, but I think it's going to be a horror game, and it's going to be at nighttime, and it's going to be evil.
Wow.
Basically, you would do something all night,
Yep.
and then you would win.
Sounds familiar.
It's kind of like working here.
Really?
I try to keep my head down all night.
Dang.
Janet asked me to go on the air,
Oh, that sucks.
and I'm always getting asked to do stuff.
It's called life.
The more stuff I get asked to do,
Yeah.
the more I get anxious and panicky.
Oh, same here.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Is this some kind of life lesson?
Oh, yeah.
I just want to play Terminator.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Nice. So, still nothing unusual. So we keep reading? Okay. Oh, we're on chapter 1. Little Maggie O'Brien was the first. The children had been playing in Hogan's Forest when they all heard a strange noise. I added strange and it worked. Strange sounds better. Sensing no danger because there were so many of them, 12 children in all decided to investigate the source of the strange sound. Seriously? Sensing no danger because there were so many of them, 12 children in all decided to investigate the source of the strange sound. Oh. What? Oh. Okay. As they all searched high and low, they soon realized that Maggie was missing. The Tori. Frantically, they began searching for their friend. She was a small girl who loved to play hide and seek. Her big brother Colin insisted that she was probably hiding somewhere safe and giggling to herself as she watched everyone search for her. The sun sank low in the sky and the forest grew dark. The children, frustrated and panicked, ran back to the village to alert their parents that little Maggie was nowhere to be found. That's when everyone lit torches and spread out through the woods calling her name. What? What was that? I heard that. I don't like that. The little girl's mother sobbed desperately as we inspected every corner of the woods in hopes of finding her. Her brother kept searching, tears streaming down his cheeks. I'm her big brother, he said, rubbing his eyes. I'm supposed to make sure nothing happens to her. It's not your fault, Colin, I assured him. We'll find her soon, She'll be no worse for the wear. He nodded, forced a smile, and we continued looking. The moment I heard him scream, I knew he had found her. Or what was left of her, which wasn't much. Whoa! Hey there, you look like a dog. Green doggy. We were sure it was Maggie because she had worn her favorite hair bow that day. Her brother, yeah. Her father plucked the pink ribbon from her body and fell to his knees, wailing into the darkness. Thank you. Poor Colin just tried to tell us then. Poor Colin tried to tell us then. He said that she had been covered in what He said that she had been covered in what he described as little green men. Yeah, I did it. Applause for that. They were fat and green, he stammered, with bright glow. You scared the crap out of me. With bright glowing eyes, they were biting off bits of skin and flesh. No one believed the lad. We all attributed the horrible ordeal to a hungry wild animal. Wow. My grammar. 10 out of 10. Of course, what else could it possibly be? Why you stopping me? Scooping up what remained of little Maggie, the townsfolk set to work preparing for a funeral. We had no idea the horrors that lay ahead. I thought to myself how strange her wounds looked. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think of the stories my grandmother used to tell me. She said that our druid ancestors spoke of tiny creatures that lived long ago in the swamps and marshes surrounding our lands. No! The Earthlings, she called them. There were 3 tribes, each being their own breed of evil. One tribe, I recall, she said, were green and fat. They would lure children away from safety and feast on their flesh. We didn't live near any swamps. Surely the boy's mind was playing tricks on him. Besides, the Earthlings weren't real. They couldn't be. Ta-da! Chapter 1 done. Just get a nice fan that could probably fall on us. That'd be funny. Alright, so we just start reading again. Maggie O'Brien's funeral was just what everyone would expect. Everyone did their best to comfort the grieving parents. Colin kept to himself. Everyone assumed it was because he blamed himself. After his sister had been laid to rest, I came to him to ask how he was doing. He looked up at me, eyes red from either crying, lack of sleep, or a combination of the two, and said, I really saw them, the little green men. I said men. It's monsters, but it still works. My heart ached as I put my arms around the boy. I kept telling myself that seeing his little sister in pieces couldn't have been easy for him. He was just in shock. Oh, you left me a green pebble. The stories of the Earthlings were only told to scare children into doing what they were told, that was all. I skipped that comment, we're good. First thing my grandmother told me about the Earthlings was that there was 3 tribes. The green ones had round bellies and piercing blue eyes. She said they could be heard if you walked deep into the swamp at night. She said they could be heard if you walked deep into the swamp at night. They would laugh and sing as they danced around their tiny campfires. Wow, nice vacuum. I'll just cut to the good part. Okay, welcome back. The vacuum is now gone. So I just now realized that that poster says The Germinator, and that one says War Stars. I think that's all I noticed while you were... Huh. Alright. I think we're still in chapter 2. They would laugh and sing as they danced around their tiny campfires, which they would appear only as tiny flickering lights through the trees. They were the least lethal of the three tribes, but every bit as evil. The red ones were more temperamental and even faster than their green cousins. They didn't sing or dance around campfires, and their celebrations were a bit more gruesome. Jesus. They prefer to eat children from the inside out. It was even though by some that they were only red because they were stained by the blood of their victims. Fiery red, bristle-like hairs sprouted from the top of their heads, and their growing yellow eyes seemed cold and calculating. The pale Earthlings were in another class altogether. They had white skin and wild, untamed blue hair that flowed out in every direction. The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all, yet they were somehow the most keen and efficient killers of the three. My grandmother said that their long, wiry hair could somehow sense the presence and locations of children. There were some things that all three tribes had in common. Earthlings preferred to eat after midnight and would only attack if the child didn't make direct eye contact with them. I reassured myself that the O'Brien girl was being attacked barely after sunset meant that she had to have been a victim of a wild animal attack. A few of the men in the village came together to hunt down the beast that killed the girl. They came back 2 days later carrying the carcass of a large wolf. The whole village breathed a sigh of relief, and a big celebration was held. The only one besides myself that remained anxious was Colin. Looking at his face that night, I knew that he believed the creatures that killed Maggie were still out there, waiting. He was right.
Rar.
Are you serious? I was wondering why the story wasn't ending. That's why. Now to reread! I'll just cut back to where I was. I won't make you listen to my reading again. Alright, we're back. Alright, so I died like 3 times trying to get here so you guys could see this. But we're back at where we were, I think, or a few words before it, but let's continue on. That's when I screamed and they scattered. Got it this time. They were gone before any of the grown-ups got to me. His eye fills with tears from the memory. Please tell me what they are. He was no more than 11 or 12, having just lost his sister and now his friend. No one believed him when he tried to tell us before. No one had believed him when he tried to tell us before. It couldn't have been easy, but he opened up to me. It couldn't have been easy, but he opened up to me. It couldn't have been easy, but he opened up to me. I felt it only right that I tell him what I knew. We sat together by the bonfire late into the night, and I told him all his old stories. Unfortunately, the only thing that my grandmother hadn't mentioned was how to get rid of them. Unfortunately, the only thing my grandmother hadn't mentioned was how to get rid of them. Unfortunately, the only thing my grandmother hasn't mentioned was how to get rid of them. Unfortunately, the one thing that my grandmother hadn't mentioned was how to get rid of them. What is wrong with this book? It's broken! Unfortunately, the one thing my grandmother hadn't mentioned was how to get rid of them. Looking into the flames, I got an idea. I knew the most unholy creatures were repelled by fire. Well, Colin folded his arms. We'll just have to test what happens to an Earthling when it's on fire. I did it! I did it! Nice. Nice action figures and lava lamp. Oh, no radio. What chapter is this? Chapter 4. We'll read this chapter and we'll stop on 5. Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. Are you serious already? If anyone knew that my grandmother had passed down in her Drusid teachings, it would only take one person to scream witch, and I'd be good as dead. He agreed and kept my secret. I mixed a potion that would catch fire when touched by the tiniest flame. Neither of them died! Oh. Again! Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. Oh my god! Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I wanted... Colin wanted to tell his friends about the Earthlings, but I begged him to keep it a secret. Sucker. If anyone knew that my grandmother passed down her Drusid teachings, it would only take one person to scream witch, and I would be good as dead. He agreed and kept my secret. He agreed and kept my secret. He agreed and kept my secret. I mixed a potion that would catch fire when touched by the tiniest flame. Jesus. Surely this would send it screaming to the underworld. I don't think it liked that. He sat quietly in his bed and waited, knowing he mustn't look them in the eye. He must let it attack, for this would be the only way to get close to it. Just after the stroke of midnight, he began to hear them chuckling and shuffling around in the dark. Clutching the potion bottle, hands trembling, he lowered his gaze and braced himself. Sure enough, one of them leapt from the bookshelf and sank its teeth into the flesh of his arm. He screamed and unstopped the bottle, emptying the contents over the green Earthling. It tore a tiny round chunk from his arms and gulped it down just as Colin shoved the candle right into its face. Oh! I'll be back to that spot again! We're back again. It tore a tiny round chunk from his arm and gulped it down just as Colin shoved a candle right into its face. It tore a tiny round chunk from his arm and gulped it down just as Colin shoved a candle right into its face. It lit up like a torch, made a horrific, high-pitched scream as it ran around the room, trying to put itself out. The curtains caught fire as 4 more Earthlings sprung out from their hiding places. Colin ran outside screaming, cradling his blood-soaked arm. His parents soon joined him outside in a panic, trying to figure out what happened. Just then, a tiny fireball came racing through the doorway and zigzagged towards the woods. I grabbed my empty bottle from my cupboard and ran after it. I grabbed an empty glass jar from my cupboard and ran after it. I grabbed an empty glass jar from my cupboard and ran after it. The jar made a thunk sound as it landed over the flaming earthling, and the fire quickly went out. To my horror, the thing wasn't dead. It didn't even look like it was dying. Though blackened from being set ablaze, it was just as spunky as ever. Though blackened, being set ablaze, it was just as spunky as ever. I quickly scooped up the jar and screwed the lid on. As I made my way back, some of the villagers were trying to put out the fire inside the house, and others were tending to Cullen's arm, telling him that it must have been a rat. I've never seen a rat quite like this, I shouted and held the jar up so... I've never seen a rat quite like this, I shouted and held the jar up so high... Okay. The instant they all looked in my direction, the jaws dropped open and Cullen's face lit up for the first time since he's lost his sister. He knew everyone finally saw that he'd been telling the truth all along, and they had felt terribly ashamed for not believing him in the first place. He knew everyone finally saw that he was telling the truth all along, and they had felt terribly ashamed for not believing him in the first place. He knew everyone finally saw that he had been telling the truth all along, and they had all felt terribly ashamed for not believing him in the first place. Unfortunately, the joy of this small victory was short-lived. For over the next 3 days, we tried every method we could think of to kill the little wretch, but no matter what horrific thing we did, it wouldn't die. Yeah, we did it! Listen to this last radio, and we can stop the video here.
Game Talk.
Hello, darkness.
Hey, roll.
I'm your host, Nick Gloom,
Mhm.
in for Nate tonight, as we dive deep into Game Talk.
Delicious.
Sorry about those technical issues we experienced last time.
Fine.
I think Janet might have fallen asleep.
She probably did. She doesn't like you.
For those of you that missed it, we were having an interesting discussion about game difficulty and learning curves.
Really?
You know, Nate likes Dragons and Dungeons, but apparently I'm dumb for thinking it's too difficult. Apparently, kids can play it.
Mhm.
So what do I know? Kind of like my work in progress, Evil Midnight,
Nice.
which, as I mentioned earlier, if you weren't around, is going to be more of a horror game.
Really?
I'm not really sure, but I would imagine in a game like that, confusing the player could be an evil tactic.
Confusing.
Something like grooming them up to expect one thing and then yank the rug out, so to speak. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Oh.
Hello, caller, you're on Game Talk.
Oof.
Must have lost him. Hello, caller, you're on Game Talk. Very funny, guys. Caller, you're on Game Talk.
Ow. Okay. So, we're on chapter 5 now? Yes, we will stop here. Yes, okay, this is a good place to stop too. Oh, look at that. I think something's changed. Alright, well, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications if you haven't already. And, something you guys like to see next, we definitely will continue this. We're only on page 33, chapter 5, because I really do like this game. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you do all that, what I said before, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.